Hello and welcome to 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and today we're going to be talking about the Vanderbilt Commodores SEC team preview. Now, I can't do it by myself, so I got to bring on my man, Vincent Turner, Mr. Football. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Logan?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Happy Labor Day, Vincent. Happy Labor Day to everyone out there. Hope you guys have a good day, grill some good food, enjoy some family time, all that good stuff. So we're going to be talking about the Vanderbilt Commodores out of the SEC. So this last year in 2019, they finished 3-9 with a 1-7 record against the SEC. Now, going into this year, we all know that the SEC is going to be absolutely all eyes on them and that it's going to be an all SEC schedule. So, Vincent, my first question is, how do you think Vanderbilt will stack up against this all SEC schedule, knowing that their record against them last year was not the best?
Well, I'm going to say this. I like their head coach, Derek Mason. Mm-hmm. Even though he hasn't had a winning season in his 7 years there, I think Vanderbilt is going to always stack up over the years. I think they're going to be competitive, but this is a crucial year for Derek Mason. He doesn't win, he's going to be out of there. My main point with Vanderbilt is, if you go back through their football history, usually when Vanderbilt is good in the SEC is when they're good on the offensive side of the ball. And you go back to 1982 when they went 8-4, had a decent conference record when they had Whip Taylor at quarterback, they had Chuck Scott, they had Leonard Coleman on defense, but most of all, their offense averaged almost 25 points a game. And here recently in 2012 under James Franklin, they went 9-4, back-to-back seasons, 2012 and 2013, but they averaged almost 28 points a game. But they had a guy that then went on to play in the NFL at the wide receiver position, Jordan Matthews, who was a very good player, Jerry Rice's nephew. And then they had a quarterback named Jordan Rogers. We all know who he is, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So my thing with Vanderbilt, they made two big keys this offseason. Derek Mason fired both his offense. He fired both his coordinators, offense and defense. Todd Fitch is coming over from Louisiana Tech with a spread passing game. Then Ted Roof is a very veteran defensive coordinator. The defense last year gave up 31 points, but Ted Roof is went to places like Auburn, Georgia Tech, Appalachian State when he's turned that defense around. Plus, Vanderbilt has 11 defensive starters returning. What I expect about the Commodores is what they're going to do on offense. Now, they might be starting a true freshman quarterback in Ken Steels. Mm-hmm. That's all right. He was a big-time player in the state of Texas, over 3,300 yards at Woodford High School. So my thing, basically with the Commodores, if you look at their history, they got to be better on the offensive side of the ball. And if they do that, they're going to be competitive in the SEC. If not, I love my man out of Stanford University who's been there 7 years, Mr. Derek Mason. But if that doesn't happen, then the Commodores are probably going to be the bottom of the league team.
Yeah, especially this year. They really got to step it up with that all SEC schedule that we talked about. There's not going to be many off games for them. We all know the SEC is the powerhouse of the college football world. So, like you were saying, man, with that quarterback battle, they got Ken Seals, and they also got a young man with Jeremy Musa. How do you feel that they're going to shake out? How do you think that those two are going to battle and compete against each other in the spring practices and even going into the first week of the season?
Well, all my indications, the battle's been very close. But when you look at it, I think Ken Steels is a better passer. Man, when you play football in the state of Texas, the high school level, man, it's saying a lot, especially quarterback position. And Mr. Seals threw for over 3,300 yards last year. Very good football player. I think that's the key. He's going to be a true freshman. That's the man I'm going with. And hopefully that he's able to perform at a high level. Like I said, when Vanderbilt has been very good in this conference from an offensive standpoint, they've had a very good quarterback. 1982, Whip Taylor. And here recently, 2012, Jordan Rogers. Then the following year, Mr. Samuels was at the position. So, hey, ain't nothing that can go up with the Commodores playing our SEC schedule.
True. Very true, Matt. So we talked about a little bit about the offense. Let's bring it over to the defensive side of the ball. So they got a really good defensive front, like you said. They have a lot of starters returning. But how do you think their secondary is going to be able to improve? Will they be able to hold up against, like we said, that stacked SEC talent?
Well, let's look at it like this. Last year, Vanderbilt came in with a lot of expectations, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They had Keyshawn Vaughn, who's down in Tampa. Then also on the defensive side of the ball, they got a pretty good player in DeMontre Moore at the linebacker position. That secondary, you're right, B.J. Anderson, Frank Copper. They bring a lot of experience back. But the thing about Vanderbilt last year, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like the scheme they was playing, without the veteran players, they didn't really mesh together. Mm-hmm. You're bringing in Ted Roof, who has a history of knowing how to put players in a proper scheme and making proper plays and being outstanding on that side of the ball. My thing is, you're playing in the SEC. So basically, you're going to be playing Georgia. You're going to be playing LSU. You got Alabama. I mean, at the end of the day, you should be better. When I'm looking at Ted Roof, your secondary should be better because you're returning 11 starters. But at the end of the day, we're going to see what happens. I think it's going to be whether or not Mr. Roof, I think he's the key to their secondary and their whole defense. Him being able to get certain players in their positions and they being able to make plays. Because last year, let's be honest, Vanderbilt, the rails fell off defensively. They gave up 31 points a game to some major teams they played last year. I believe they gave up 66 points a game, points to LSU. So at the end of the day, this is a critical year. Let's be real here today. Mm-hmm. Here on 100 yards of football. Yeah. It's make or die with Derek Mason. So he's been there 7 years. And if he didn't have a $15 million buyout, he probably would have been gone. He probably would have been gone at the end of the year. But I like him as a football coach. I think he's a great defensive mind. But since he's been there, I think they have had a lot of problems on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they definitely got a good bit of momentum going into this season for sure. There's a lot of hype around them. They got those 6 new assistants like you were talking about. They got the new, especially the defensive coordinator. They're going to be, hopefully more stout on defense. Hopefully everyone's going to be lined up, meshed together. Like you said, last year, they just seemed to have trouble all working together. Nothing seemed to really pan out. But hopefully this year that they'll have some stability to them. They'll be able to mesh all together and they'll be able to, hopefully cause a few upsets in the FCC. Who knows? But hey, we'll have to see. So Vincent, any final thoughts on the 2020 Vanderbilt Commodores upcoming season?
Hey, I'm pulling for Derek Mason, man. I think he's an excellent football coach. You look what he done as a D coordinator over at Stanford for years, out of the Pac-12 before he got to the SEC. I think this year is critical. I just plain and simple. If they be more efficient on the offensive side of the ball and score more points, I think the Commodores are going to be very competitive in the SEC this year.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see them being competitive again, man, because it's always nice to see kind of an underdog team kind of rise up from the ranks and fight against the bigger name. That's always a great, game to see. You like to see every team doing well. You don't like to see one team at the bottom of the barrel, so to say. But hey, yeah, Vince, like you said, they were 9-7 a couple of years ago. Hopefully, they can get back to those winning ways. And I think that they're on the upswing with all these new defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, the returning players they got left, the new recruits they're going to have coming in the next few years. I think that they're going to be having a good, flux of talent coming in, and hopefully that'll lead to a few more wins for them. Well, without further ado, this has been 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. We have been talking about the Vanderbilt Commodores 2020 season preview. Thank you to my guest, Mr. Football Vincent Turner. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and we will be seeing you guys later on this week for more videos. See you guys.